Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Applegate. I'm the CEO of Passage. I'm joined by our founder and Chief Creative Officer, Lex Avellino. What's up, Lex?
Yo.
Well, as our COO, Arel Avellino. What's up, Arel? How are you, man?
Doing well.
Good. All right. So as we mentioned in our previous AMA video segment, we've had a lot of updates to share. We've had so many updates, in fact, that we made the decision to separate into two videos. This is our second video. So for our second segment today, we'll be covering a ton, but macros, our vision of Passage, partnerships that we've been able to put together, and just a general look ahead at what's in store for Passage. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. All right. First question. What do we have to look forward to on the Passage roadmap in 2023? Lex, I'm gonna toss this to you because you just talked with Ryan, who's our Chief Product Officer. You can probably give a real-time update. Ryan is fantastic, by the way, and he's been on it. And yeah, give us an idea. What is our roadmap looking like?
So it's really exciting. So for one, I'll say within the last couple of weeks, we've been able to bring the closed alpha testers. So if you're in the community, everyone's had a chance to schedule a spot to hop into to go into the Passage dashboard and enter into one of the Passage worlds. So people have jumped into Blockhouse, which is one of our custom built Passage worlds, and they've been able to hang out using the Passage streaming into these Unreal Engine worlds and get hands-on with the Passage experience already in the closed alpha. What's coming up next? So the Passage platform consists of kind of the dashboard, which is like a social experience where you've got a lot of the typical things you would see. There's chat, there's social posts and a feed. And then there's the worlds that you could explore, right? And the next thing coming out for our closed alpha participants to jump in on is being able to get into the dashboard, make social posts, add friends, chat within the platform, and then also chat with inside Passage world. So we're launching the Community Hub, which is going to be kind of the first social gathering place in Passage, custom built by our team with kind of games within the experience. There's an auditorium where we'll be doing some hangout sessions, doing some talks, and a lot of features for people to be able to hang out inside of Passage. And then, of course, shortly after, within the next little bit here, we have the Passage public launch, right? The token is going to be launched, right? And so we talked a little bit in the last video about some of the tokenomic changes that we made to accommodate the airdrops for the token, overall FDV and things like that. But at the same time, we're also going to be implementing some really cool utility up front for the token, ways that people can use the token right during the launch. So the moment that we launch the token, we want people to be able to take that, go use that within the platform to buy, 3D assets within the experience, right? Things that you can use to customize your avatar, customize your world. And so these are all things that are either lining up within the next couple of weeks or right around the token launch, which we're planning for August, September is what we're looking at right now, end of the summer.
So we're looking at the first week in August is the target.
Tentative.
Yep.
And we've been talking with the Stream Swap fam, Omniflix and Osmosis, teamed up to do LBP 2.0.
Basically LBP 2.0, except it's not actually LBP 2.0.
Stream Swap is its own animal.
It's its own animal.
Yep. And Omniflix had wonderful success launching the Flix token using Stream Swap. We're really excited to bring this to the community through community built applications. The Omniflix team is killing it. Osmosis, obviously, these are the places that are kind of pioneering these types of token opportunities within Cosmos. So that's going to be happening August is what we're looking at right now. We don't have a final date yet, but everything is kind of centering around this time frame, including utility for the token, the worlds that are going live, and the experience in the dashboard.
Right. And I want to add too that they're all incredibly supportive of what we're building here. So Passage gets launched with a lot of support and usability out of the gate. So
Yep, 100%.
All right, I want to transition. So who, as we've defined it internally, who is Passage built for? Lex, I'm gonna toss this back to you because you've been
Yep.
hammering on your passion for creators and really the why behind Passage.
Amen. Yeah. So Passage is built for creators, right? So there's the people that we've worked with already who are building worlds on Passage, like Royce59, right? Building the heaven experience on Passage. That really embodies a lot of what we're looking at for who is this meant for, right? This is meant for people who, for one, are at this intersection of being independent creators, right? To the point where they move quick, they're agile, they're trying new things, and they're kind of pushing the boundaries of current technology, right? For interacting with their communities online, right? We're talking about people who have reached a certain success point where they want to go deeper with their communities. We call this, to get a little technical, a middle of funnel experience, right? Because it's not necessarily where people are going to discover new creators at first. As the network grows, that will absolutely be the case. But at first, it's going to be the place where creators bring their audience that already love and know them, right? So think about Patreon, think about an e-commerce shop. Those are the places people go when they have a creator they love and they want to support and do more. They want to do more together. I want to get your t-shirt. I want to get your membership. I want to get your, private Discord. I want to get in your Passage, right? That's where that's going, right? Passage becomes the middle of funnel where you go deeper with creators. So this isn't necessarily going to be meant for entry-level creators out of the gate. This is really going to be for established creators, because you don't create a Patreon when you have 0 followers, right? The idea is you make a Patreon, you make a Passage when you have an audience that you're trying to get closer with, create a new opportunity, a new product for. And that might be, hey, now I'm starting to offer in-person hangouts in Passage, right? I'm going to do 3 streams a week inside of Passage, right? These are the types of things that we see creators doing with Royce and the Heaven Studios. It's all about the educational experience in hip hop community. That's something they've been really pushing for. So for us, it's all about those creators and the people who support them as well, right? Obviously, Passage is built for the fans of creators to be able to connect better with them.
So the 3 of us got together for a couple of days and really tried to pin this down into some very defined sentences. Like, what is it that we're doing? So what is Passage? We came up with Passage is a place where creators produce digital experiences. And I love that because it's very succinct and it's very to the point. What is it? Well, it's a place where creators produce digital experiences, and there's a lot to unpack with that. Experiential what? Shopping, events, really you could fill it in with anything.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty here.
Exactly. It starts with what you might think of as your typical creator, right? People who make content, who are making music, who are making, who are doing streaming, who educate, who whatever. These are the people you see who have, millions of followers, right? And a lot of people they can connect with and go deeper with. But then at the same time, you realize that that's kind of like the flagship of what we're showcasing. All the same features apply to a team, right? If you think about a team as a group of creators, collaborators, right? They have a lot of the same needs in terms of being able to communicate better. It's just one of those things where when we tailor this, when we're tailoring the message, when we're really trying to focus in on who is the first person to adopt this, the creators are the people who are going to bring in the masses, right? Who are going to bring in large audiences. And then kind of like secondary to that, all the same features are there. And we have a lot of the same opportunities for teams, for creative teams, for, any type of collaborative effort.
Right.
But that's going to come afterwards, right? Like those people can see, oh, there's an opportunity here for me. Mm-hmm. But it's in a lot of ways, it's going to be the creators. We believe, this is kind of our thesis, that kind of lead the way and pioneer the opportunity in these virtual spaces.
Yeah. And we also took it a step further and wanted to define kind of the why. And as we talk about who is Passage built for, our why was really about creating a more human experience, a more human web. So instead of just pages, right, we wanted to create a passage, a place.
Yep.
Where you have social connectivity. You have immersion and engagement, and like I just said, experiential fill in the blank. Is it your merch shop? Is it your you're doing a live stream? Is it an event that you want to put on? There's so much that you can do with Passage because it's a more human experience in a digital format, but it also connects to the real world. And that's really important here, that it doesn't just live in the digital space. It has full connection to the physical world in which we all live. Cool. Okay. So Arel, I'm going to kick this one to you. What's the long-term Passage vision?
Well, you guys pretty much covered that.
Yeah.
That is a long-term vision. Right now, we aren't connected to physical things yet. The long-term vision is that we are. We right now haven't fully replaced pages with places, but our mission is to pioneer the 3D web so that we can be replacing pages with places, so that when people engage with your brand, instead of just engaging a web page, instead they can engage with a place that might have, experiences for them to uncover, or a community to connect with, or many people are still using webinars right now, and we really see that there's a lot that people can do with essentially a much more robust and engaging version of a webinar, which would be this would be a Passage world and experience. So the long-term vision is really around that. We want to create places, not pages.
Yeah. And I would just say better connectivity. We hear the word a lot, interoperable. Like, we just want better connectivity. If there's digital spaces out there, if there's a metaverse or a 3D place, like, our job at Passage is to curate it all into one spot. If I'm the consumer, it's super easy to get to, right? It's all right here. The cool thing is I can jump in and out of those worlds or places or spaces, right? And come back to my central dash, but it's completely connected. So it's not just that we want to create these places. It's that we want to create a web of connectivity to all of these places. Okay, so we've talked a lot about partnerships. We've been working really, really hard on threading the needle with the right kinds of partners. Oftentimes, blockchain has been synonymous with gaming because gaming has rewards and mechanisms already built in, queues to win things, and this whole concept of NFTs really came out of having real digital asset ownership. And so with Passage, we saw how important it would be to thread the needle with the right kinds of partners. Now, I will say, we can't mention several of the people that we've been talking with and even that we have deals with. What I will say is that these are incredibly powerful partnerships with retailers in the space that want to see better connectivity and better immersion and engagement with players. So I'll just leave it at that. It's a huge tease, and I always try to be specific, but in this case, we literally can't be right now. But we can talk about a few partnerships. Arel, Lex, is there anything that you want to drop to our community?
Yeah, Lex, you can go ahead and well, actually, you guys mostly covered the last one, so I can cover a little bit of this. So we've already announced that we're partnered with Wawa, and the Wawaverse world is going to be pretty dope. A lot of people have seen updates on that, and very soon a lot of the people from the Wawa community will be able to actually get into that world.
We just saw this week a multiplayer experience in Wawaverse, and the latest is that they're connecting the games to that experience. We have everything; it's all being connected, and we'll be getting the beta pass holders from that NFT collection in there shortly. So
and then another one that's pretty much from last year, as far as like the discussion around this brand. There are some new things. We can't talk about some of the new things that we've initiated with them, There is a little bit of a tease there, but basically we're still gung-ho for decentralized. Decentralized Web3 music company. They are,
and all the alpha people who have come into Passage have seen the Blockhouse space that Decentralized is going to be leveraging for their music events, right? So a lot of really cool stuff happening on that collaboration.
Yep. So we have talked about, but we've not shared much about the Heaven experience. Right now, we're working on essentially the next chapter for the Heaven experience. The world has been completed and is currently going through optimization, but the Heaven experience is an ongoing partnership, and we're really excited about kind of like the next chapter of where that's going. We recently got a deal with a company called Update Drink, because one of the things that has been really exciting to us is the concept of, how do brands engage with these worlds, either as owning their own world and being part of a community and driving conversation as a community, or as an advertiser. So we've got a project going with Update Drink to basically work with them on their energy drink coming into the platform and being used in various ways, both as 3D assets and other things that we kind of want to do as in-world experiences around the drink.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about that is you start to see the crossover between like physical world, digital world, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea of having in-game assets that reflect real-world products, where you can get deals on physical products through in-game integrations and things like that. Wink, wink, hints at kind of really cool integrations here. But then also some of the partnerships we can't talk about reflect those same ideals of meshing the physical and the virtual, right? In the retail space, being able to connect people's experiences from the moment they step foot into a virtual platform, that like there's a discovery mechanism there, but then driving people to be able to go further by taking their Passage experience into a store, into an event, into a, like, we are taking very real steps. And this is probably reflected in a lot of these experiences, even thinking about the way that Decentralized is meshing physical performance with the virtual space. There is a common theme of really trying to connect the physical and the virtual, that people wouldn't be isolated in this purely digital space.
Yeah, and I want to add to that too, just for our community.
Yeah,
How this looks practically is you can level up, you can earn rewards in the form of physical products. And what I mean specifically by that is our intention of doing a deal with Update Drink is simply to, we want to create a gamified experience. If you do this, if you try this, if you join over here, right, you can earn rewards. One of them being an Update Drink that is sent to you in the mail. It's a physical product that you get to try for free for participating in the Passage ecosystem. So we do believe in that physical world synthesis. So it's not just all living digital and you take the headset off and walk away, but there's more tangibility to it. And so I'm excited to see how that partnership evolves.
Yeah. This is definitely in the like sphere of us trying to continue to create connections to physical and digital things. And there's other partnerships that are in that same vein that we're trying to make happen, which we're all very excited about.
Absolutely.
So this next one I'm really excited about. We are currently at the stage where we aren't allowed to name the name. It is being shared like with a very small group of people who this name is. We do have a LOI that is currently present. But basically, this is a company that is in text to 3D as an AI, generative AI company. And what they are doing with text to 3D is beyond any other project that I have spoken to. Why is this so important for Passage? Because a huge part of the Passage ecosystem is the relationship between creators and the assets that they use to then go and build their worlds, and also the assets that are used in customizing avatars, in doing various objects and holdable items. These are the things that we are prioritizing, and there's a barrier to entry in the creation of those things that we want to try to minimize as much as possible. In what we have worked on with this company, it would appear that this is like we are actually very, very far along to be able to not only have generative AI, but then also to immediately be able to bring that innovation into Passage so that people can type out what they want and be able to get something not only from the marketplace, but customized to what they actually wanted.
Yeah. AI powered world building.
AI powered world building, AI powered AI powered avatars. There's a lot here, and I think it's only the beginning. The other exciting thing to me about what we could be doing with this company is also bringing transparency into AI models. And so one of the things that I think is constant discussion in AI communities as well as the decentralized communities is what is behind these AI models, and how can we have essentially some level of accountability. And I think that the merging of AI and crypto is really key. So especially for us being so deep on the content side with our project, having something that makes it super, super easy for people to be able to generate the content that they want is an incredible tool. So we're really excited to be able to talk more about that, talk more about the specifics of who it is that we're working with. But I think that there's a lot that we can dig into there.
Yeah. Arel, real quick, I want to take a step back because you mentioned the Heaven experience, and I know the three of us have talked at great length about kind of where we stand with that. And you mentioned earlier that we're discussing plans for a phase 2 and kind of being more involved and in the content creation side of things. Maybe give our community a little bit more color on where we're at with the Heaven experience.
Yeah, so basically, a small group of Heaven experience participants have come into the project. We are slowly trying to roll that out so that Royce's really large audience doesn't overwhelm essentially where we're at right now, being in closed alpha. As a whole, our closed alpha has been fantastic. We've had many great experiences with that. As far as the content that we're working on for phase 2, it's still a little bit loose as far as what the content schedule will look like. But to kind of get to the heart of it, Royce's heart has been from the beginning that he wants to educate the next generation of hip hop artists. He's made that very clear in like many different places, in the types of content he's even creating right now, and also in their current efforts and focus as a studio. There's a lot that we could unpack there. I think that's going to be something that we do together with Royce and his team. But just to give like a broad strokes view on it, we're really looking at how does Passage come alongside the Royce da 5'9" community, the Heaven community, to educate this next generation of hip hop artists. And in that same vein, it's funny, we also have some of the conversations that we can't necessarily talk about right now, also kind of follow that same narrative of how are we coming alongside the next generation of educators in general. So just like to keep throwing out these teases because there's so much that we could talk about that we do talk about internally, but you have to do everything in its own time. So
Right, right. Well, I think that's a good lead in because someone asked the question, can we explain the difference between Passage 3 division and Strange Clan? I think it's a really good lead in because a lot of what you're talking about is kind of on the 3 division content creation side. And so I would love to take a minute, either Errol, you or Lex, dig into, I mean, I think we all know what Passage is. We've talked about it, right? We know what specifically Passage is. Passage is our core product. Let's talk a little bit about 3 division and then maybe where we're at with Strange Clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can speak to the 3 division side of things because ultimately the studio, 3 division is our studio. And that was kind of like where things started with me back in 2017 and earlier. And 3 division was ultimately the service arm of what we did as a studio that pioneered Passage. So like we were building Passage experiences for clients as a service before we really pushed to make Passage a product that anyone could use, right? So 3 division has kind of been a thing for a while. And I remember early on in talking about what we were doing and Passage and Strange Clan, a big benefit that we talked about to the way our team existed was that we had a full studio, full team that had, clients and all these things where we had basically a means of supporting the team that was, kind of impervious to the market conditions, right? Now, the scope of what Passage became and what Strange Clan is definitely has grown over time and has its own needs and all of that. But we've kind of always had this studio team that's managed partners like the Heaven experience. So like, the core team that's building Passage isn't building Royce's experience, right? We have, creatives and, our studio arm that are basically working with Royce to build this Unreal, because most creators aren't going to have their own Unreal Engine team, right? That's something where we have kind of made a concerted effort to help people bridge that gap. And we've got this studio arm of the team that's able to do that, right? That's able to work with people, that has clients, and is able to provide kind of like creative services. And what part of what that's done is allowed us to be closer to content creators, right? We've opened up a lot of opportunities for connecting with different people who would leverage the Passage platform through that. People who wouldn't be able to kind of break into this space otherwise. But then also, the cool thing about the 3 division team is that, yes, that's where a lot of our connections came from, to everybody from big studios to independent creators. But it's also creates an opportunity for us to onboard, more creators in the early stages of Passage, right? As the tools develop, from day one of the beta, anybody coming into the beta will be able to create a world with world building tools. But a lot of your high level creators who can leverage Passage best are going to want something custom, something beyond the capabilities of the early build of the world builder. And so that's going to evolve and grow as the community contributing assets, people selling new assets for the world builder, people creating, different templates and things like that. That'll grow with the community naturally. But at the same time, we're able to bridge the gap with our creative team, right? So that's kind of 3 division in a nutshell, right? It's been a kind of a service arm of the team. It's been able to work directly with, influencers, content creators, to make things and large brands. And right now, we still have people who want those services and are kind of becoming interested in Passage because of the work that 3 division is doing. So there's a really cool synergy there in terms of, the service arm of the business that, for one, can carry its own weight, but also help sustain other efforts of the company, and the product arm of the business, which is building the Passage core functionality.
Yeah.
So,
Errol, and you've been really involved on the Strange Clan side of things. I know in the last video, we talked a little bit about how the Passage token would affect, or just our change in tokenomics would affect Strange Clan players and that community. Maybe talk a little bit about what is Strange Clan and where, maybe just give kind of a high level macro of where we're at with that.
Yeah, so Strange Clan, for anybody who doesn't know, is our action RPG game. We launched an NFT collection around Strange Clan in October of 2021. It was very well received. We've had an incredible community that's been following the journey of this project. And basically, where we're at right now is we are currently working with Digital Void, who has been, again, I think I said in the last video, just an incredible partner on that project, because as much as we've been in Unreal for so long and we've done a lot of different game development efforts, like they have experience, and we've said this for a long time, that we really count on their experience in the world of AAA games. When we've talked to people in the past, we have tried to highlight the fact that the reason why we are so ambitious with this game is because we have a partner like that, not because we somehow think that we're going to become superstar AAA creators overnight.
Right.
So the Digital Void team has been phenomenal. And where we're at right now with the project is, and again, I may have mentioned this in the last video, but for those who haven't seen that, we're really focused on making it so that this isn't just a AAA experience that's buried somewhere online. We really want this to be have a legit launch. And the only way that we do that is getting in partnership with publishers. So that's a hard task for somebody who hasn't had any experience in AAA. So that's why we're with Digital Void. We've had several conversations with major AAA publishers, and 6 of them are continuing this conversation. And we are moving into kind of like the next major phase with that conversation by basically showing them a playable demo. That playable demo, we're trying to get it ready by September. But all of this is like held somewhat loosely, but it's an ongoing conversation with those studios. We're very excited about our ability to kind of get it to that next stage, and also super excited about the early reactions to the IP, which is a pretty strange IP. I mean, one of the things that we can kind of pride ourselves on is you see the Strange Clan, and it's definitely very different than other things that you've seen.
Very unique world, very unique style.
World, very unique character style. And we have really messed around with, how do we make this a world and an experience that can really stand out amongst other AAA titles. So yeah, that's where we're at right now with the project. The team.
Well, I will say, we also have the Strange Clan Passage world, right? Like, this is kind of in addition to all of the integrations in Passage. Like, it's important to remember that a lot of the building blocks for Strange Clan are the Passage core experience, right? Yes, obviously Strange Clan has all of its own, game functionality, like its own mechanics and whatnot. But when it comes to the marketplace experience that's being moved into the dashboard, right, for the sale of digital blockchain assets, right, your Strange Clan characters, your Strange Clan items, things like that. That's all being set up in the dashboard right now with upgraded market contracts. And then on like the streamed experience side of things, right, Passage core and the Strange Clan world are being set up inside the Passage dashboard. So like, there's a lot of things that are happening all at once. So like, there's definitely this appearance of like, oh man, if we hit like a bottleneck, right? Because like things have slowed down. I think things have slowed down, and yet at the same time, we pulled the Passage community into more and more into the Passage experience itself, right? So like, there's still a lot of really cool interaction happening with the community. It's just, there's, as we're connecting these things, there is definitely this feeling of like, okay, things slow down as we're tying things together, especially with the amount of stuff that has to be tied together before the public launch. But Passage progress is Strange Clan progress. Like, it's really important to kind of like emphasize that, because it's easy to be like, well, where's the game demo, right? Where's the playable features or whatever, things like that. At the same time, we're always getting questions about the Strange Clan marketplace, right? Which is the Passage marketplace. And all those things are being upgraded and imported into the dashboard, right? So it's going to be a unified experience across your digital assets for Passage. So things are moving forward. There's a lot of things that are moving forward. And sometimes just because of all the things that have to be connected right now, it can be difficult to kind of identify what pushes the needle for Strange Clan specifically. So Passage is a big part of that.
Thanks for that additional color. Guys, I know we're all busy. I want to say thank you to the two of you for taking time to answer the community's questions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other questions that open out of these responses, but for the most part, I think we covered everything that the community submitted. So on that note, we're going to close and thank you both.
Go team, go.
Here, guys.
Peace.
Cheers.